We're on YouTube Live. Live right now. Get on 92.3 The Fans YouTube. We are live right now where Neil says, why is the show identified as the Ken Carman Show when Anthony Lima is superior? I will be reporting you to YouTube and blocking you. Thank you very much.
Which is funny because I had my personal friends in the YouTube yesterday ripping me. Well, no one hates you more than your personal
calling
friends.
you a childhood name.
That's true.
Yeah, Rat Boy.
Rat Boy.
Now, was it B-O-I when they called you Rat Boy? Or
I
was
don't
it
know,
B-O-Y?
but now it is. Now it's become that.
John Greco going to join us coming up at 8:02. So yesterday we started off the show with a bang. I was upset. Lima, you win. Apparently the Browns agree with you.
What do you mean?
You win the argument. They're keeping Andre Szmyt.
Wait.
You win. Congratulations on all your success.
Hold on.
Do the champions
Where
pose.
was I ever advocating like they gotta keep the kicker?
No.
I think I was more indifferent.
You weren't championing Andre Szmyt, but what you were doing was trying to poke every hole you could and blow my argument open, where there are a lot of people who agreed with me, but the people who agreed with you were vehemently against me, going, that's stupid. You can't just cut a guy. And I go, yes, you can. It's a kicker.
Well,
you didn't draft him. You didn't sign him to a long deal.
Can.
You can just cut him if you want to. And then by the end of the show, I did eventually kind of calm down because I wanted to be as responsible as I could. Like, it's a lonely business. And when the Cade York article came out, it's like, dude, you can't just sit there and just rip on these guys and make it personal and nasty. You have no idea what they're going through. I'm sure he was trying to make the kick, for crying out loud. So it's like, hey, I think you should bring in competition. I think you should bring in other guys and have a tryout. And if one of those guys are better in your practice, then go ahead and go with one of those guys who are better. I heard Josh Cribbs yesterday on Afternoon Drive. He was great, saying that the guys in the front office would come down and stand next to the kickers with the whole team to put pressure on these guys. So here's Josh Cribbs yesterday on Afternoon Drive about the pressure. I think he might agree with you, Tone. Send him on over to the stadium and have the fans go in there and start to make noise.
They can make kicks all day in practice. They can make it, when the lights aren't on, they make it all day. That's the decision that Andrew Bray has to make. I seen it when I was there coaching with the team. I seen them do something that I think they need to continue to do. Is they brought the entire staff, scouting department, they brought the coaches, and they all circled around the kicker towards the end of practice. I mean, literally, you have scouts and the general manager, they're all on the field, and they're putting the pressure on these kickers to where, hey, you missed this, it's going to be bad. And it's after practice, and they simulate that pressure because nowhere else do the pressure get simulated for a kicker until you have to win a game. So, again, the answer is not going to be bringing in a kicker who's capable. Everybody is capable. It's just the mental aspect.
And that goes right along with what you were saying, where why do they hide the kickers in the preseason from us? They hid Dustin Hopkins from us. But, this goes to a bigger point. If he goes out there and he misses on Sunday, I'm going to yell at you. Okay, because you weren't advocating saying we need to have Andre Szmyt. You have your opportunity. I was willing to give the organization a mulligan in so many ways because it's like I thought, and there's really no mulligan, and it's a bad word for it, but I thought they wanted Dustin Hopkins to go out there and make sure he had the job. He didn't. I think that Andre Szmyt won the job by default. He made his kicks, but Dustin Hopkins was the one that they were paying. They wanted Dustin Hopkins to win the job. Dustin Hopkins didn't go out and win his own job. The job fell to Andre Szmyt. And things were fine in the first half, and they went to sweet hell in the second half. But then Kevin Stefanski spoke yesterday, and Kevin Stefanski said, and Andre Szmyt, we trust.
I'm still focused on yesterday. Obviously, Andre knows we trust him, knows that he's got to come through for us in those moments. I thought he had a really good warm-up, banged a couple early in the game, and, missed those two at the end. And those are kicks that we expect him to make. But I'm really just focused on that game, and we expect him to come through for us.
All righty. So you know what? You've made your bed. Now you lie in it. So now I can really blame it on Andrew and Kevin. If he goes out there and he sucks on Sunday against Baltimore, then I can really blame it on Andrew and Kevin and go, this was another thing you could have done and you decided not to do.
Well, people are going to say, they're going to say the season's over. You're 0-2. The Browns aren't coming back from 0-2 to make the playoffs.
To say the season's over already, sad to say. We'll talk about that coming up at 6:43. Go ahead.
I think that's a little silly. But
it is a bit silly.
Actually, a lot silly. But anyway, when you're 0-2, and if your kicker costs you the first two games, I mean, look, you could say, well, if we just fix the kicker. But most people are going to say they're not coming back. The Cleveland Browns that we know, especially the Browns team that eventually is going to hand the ball over to rookies, this season at some point. Like, you've squandered your games where you've played well, and now the season's over. So fans will be absolutely irate. I did want to ask you about, like, the accountability thing, because the kicker is the one position where, guys do get just cut. They have a bad game, they get cut. Now, normally there's more of a track record. Normally it's like, this guy has been struggling. Like the San Francisco kicker, Jake Moody, was awful last year, and he was awful in week 1. And the only thing, outside of the injuries and everything that they sustained already, because Brock Purdy might not play in week 2, and Kittle's out for weeks. Surprise, surprise with Shanahan's team. They're just always injured. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you they're talking about the kicker like crazy, even more so than here, because they've seen him be awful for a year. And now he's been bad again. And yes, drafted in the 3rd round.
Top 100 pick.
Holy cow. So when it's that position, we do feel like they're more expendable. My question to you would be on the accountability front. Is it normal when you are walking around? Again, we don't treat kickers as real humans or players. We just don't. Like the coach, Stefanski's like, I didn't talk to him. I didn't go over to him. Like there was one guy it seemed that consoled him in week 1, and it was Shedeur Sanders. He was the one guy on camera talking to him and trying to look like he was like, come on, man, you've got this. Like pump him up. His life isn't over, right? Even though he's, how old is he? 29?
Yeah. 26.
Would the guys react to that? If today he would have already been cut, would that have made Myles Garrett feel better? Would that have made Joe Flacco feel better? I mean, Flacco, how many starts does he have left in his career?
I don't think they would have felt better. I don't think they would have been like, yeah, get rid of him. I don't think that would have been the case. I think they would have gone, that's unfortunate. That's the unfortunate nature of the business of being a kicker.
And they know it. They know that
it's a blessing and a curse where you can be a hero and you can also be a heel. And you might only get the chance to be a heel. So he's going to get another chance. But now it's not where, like, I don't put it on Andre Szmyt now, or just Andre Szmyt if he misses kicks and we find ourselves in the same situation against Baltimore where it's like, hey, you had a chance to beat Lamar Jackson, another great quarterback, and you had a chance to beat Baltimore on their 30th anniversary celebration of the day they stole our football team and brought it over there. Well, they didn't really steal it. Art Modell handed it to him. But either way, on that celebration, Joe Flacco, like say they get close and Andre Szmyt misses it again, it ain't an Andre Szmyt argument anymore. It's a Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski argument.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's why it's like, I feel better. I have more to either use for or against. So I hope, let me be sincere about this. I hope that he becomes Morton Anderson. I hope he becomes Adam Vinatieri. It's much easier for me to be wrong. And I've been wrong plenty of times, and I will be wrong plenty of times in the future, because none of what I say really matters in the grand scheme of things. It's for entertainment purposes only. What they say really matters. What they think really matters. And if I end up being right and they end up being wrong, there's going to be a major problem, because then you're losing more games, and it's over a kicker, for crying out loud. Because that would be then probably 2 more games, because you're going to have to play well against Baltimore, and you're going to have to play well against Green Bay, and you're going to have to play well against Detroit. I'm not sure about Miami coming up here later on in the season, but against the first part of your schedule, you're probably going to have to play pretty well. And again, what was the difference yesterday that we were talking about? I mentioned this at 6:40 in the morning yesterday, and I'll mention it again. How would we be feeling had the kick went through? Carson Schlesinger, okay? Dylan Sampson out of the backfield catching passes. Not much on the ground, but out of the backfield catching passes. Mason Graham after the first drive really came together and looked good. You had young guys play well for you. We would have got past the said Tillman drop bobble interception. We would have got past Harold Finn. Harold Fannin Jr. was great, by the way. They had him isolated, for crying out loud. How much better would we have felt about them? And then even the people who really dislike Andrew Berry and wanted him fired last winter and want him fired every waking moment of the day, you would have had to admit, boy, those rookies really played well, and you went out there and you got to win. Nope. Instead, we're going to do this whole thing over again, and we're going to put trust in this guy, and if he misses them again, fine, but this is on your head. And whatever argument comes back will come back in folds against you from the fan base. You're already not well liked. Your approval rating is way below 50% with the fan base. Okay, you've made this bed. You will now lay in it. And I really hope for your sake, that he ends up being Morton Anderson. Because I've been wrong. It don't matter with me. Fans have been wrong. It don't matter with them. You can't afford it. You can't afford to be wrong.
Well, and
coming off the 3-14, going into year 6, you can't afford to be wrong. So you better hope he's got it.
Being in kicker hell sucks because it's the one thing that can undo, even if you magically have the quarterback situation fixed, it's the one thing that can totally doom a season is just being in the kicker hell, and they are square right in the middle of it.
Is this a mistake or is this something you like? Because now you can really put it squarely on Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski.